From the headquarters of Fight Back Media, The Morning Report, with your host, Willie Lawson. Well, good morning, and welcome to The Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. We are thrilled to be here. It is Monday, August 22nd, 2022. Right before we started recording today, I was tooling around on Facebook, and somebody I went to college with, their daughter is in marching band where we went to college, and they showed their first some time in their first week there in their preseason camp. They call it preseason camp. We used to call it Gunky Week because you felt like a gunky. But anyway, and I thought, how long has it been since my Gunky Week? Well, it's been 41 years. Whoa, 41 years. And I'm watching video of these young people as they're marching, high stepping, and it's hot in Tallahassee. When we went to school, I mean, and I remember doing that and being hot, but I didn't get tired. I don't remember being sore. I don't remember getting cramps. I don't remember any inflammation. I remember, getting up the next morning and doing it again, like 7 days in a row. Was excited the whole time. Couldn't wait to go out there and do it. Playing my instrument the whole time, and just not being tired and going and enjoying the after rehearsal festivities, wherever, and it was fine. I don't think I can do 1 day of it now. Not 1 day. Not 1 day. 41 years. Time passes quickly, friends. Time passes very quickly. I just wanted to share that bit of my existence with you this morning. We got lots to talk about because anymore, we always have lots to talk about, don't we? We're going to talk about Mitch McConnell's idea that the GOP has got some bad Senate candidates. Now, this is the dude that's supposed to be the minority leader, and he's going, well, I don't know, we're gonna, I'm all about managing expectations, but you know what, at this point, you're either going to be on the team or not, Mitch McConnell, unless he sort of likes his minority, we can't stop anybody, but I'm still getting paid brand leadership. We'll talk a little bit about that. A Federalist editor had a little bit to say, and we'll talk about that too. Every time they try to get my governor, they end up getting dunked on every single time. And another time has happened. We'll talk about that. A judge rules whether the DOJ has to release Trump's affidavit. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let's go ahead and get started with the fun and the frivolity and the insanity. Mitch McConnell, who was supposed to be the minority leader and was once the majority leader in the Senate, Republican, quote unquote, from Kentucky, gave the Democrats a boost recently. Whether it was intentional or not is irrelevant. But at this point, when the Senate Republican leader says that his party virtually has no chance of retaking the 50-50 Senate, this is a guy who's supposed to be the captain of the team. This is the fellow who's supposed to be the captain of the team. He is supposed to be the one that encourages and fights, and we're going to win, and we're going to go, and we're going to try our best. He's supposed to be this guy, and he says there's almost no chance. Why? The Kentucky Republicans' Eeyore attitude, we're doomed, concerns what he says the centers on candidate quality. Candidate quality. Well, it's interesting that Mitch McConnell has an idea of what quality is. He thinks quality is himself, Mitt Romney. That's who he thinks quality is. Lisa Murkowski. That's who John McCain. That's who he believes quality, what quality is. And basically, what he's done, he's thrown a wet blanket over some campaigns, which is typical Republican nonsense. Because what Republicans are really good at doing is killing their wounded and eating their young. Yet Federalist editor Molly Hemingway, especially angered by McConnell's remarks, not only for creating an unnecessary firestorm during a period where the political climate is primed for a GOP takeover, but also for being inaccurate. She redirected fire toward the Democrats in some key races, citing their flaws and how it's entirely feasible to construct a winning election strategy to defeat these people in November. Before I go on, McConnell has proven that this is super important. The Republicans take back the Senate and retire Mitch McConnell. With McConnell's remarks, as Hemingway saw it, the man was ceding a winnable election, grabbing defeat from the jaws of victory, so to speak, to the Democrats based on an Armageddon-like conditions for the GOP that simply do not exist. Molly also noted that it appears to be a moment where Mr. Mitch cannot see the forest for the trees. He's forgotten that the voters of the Republican Party nominated these folks. All of the 14 Senate seats that are in contention, 2 are considered safe for Democrats. One leans Democrats, 2 are considered safe for Republican, 1 leans Republican. The other remaining 8 are toss-ups. More than 70% of Americans say the country is moving in the wrong direction, according to the Real Clear Politics average. Americans are clearly not happy with the quality of leadership coming out of Washington, D.C., or going into Washington, D.C. for sure. And in this milieu, Republican voters who care deeply about their country have chosen a slate of extremely interesting candidates, many of them non-career politicians. And this is what Mitch McConnell doesn't like. These are citizen representatives, particularly compared to the crop of senators currently in Washington. They are all extremely talented and impressive people. This is something to highlight and praise, not lament. Having non-career politicians running is a good thing, not a bad thing, but not for the career politicians. Herschel Walker, Mehmet Oz, J.D. Vance, Blake Masters are successful and impressive people in a variety of careers. Even the more traditional politicians running re-election, Ron Johnson, Marco Rubio, are among the better senators in office. Adam Laxalt, running against incumbent Nevada Democrat, is a highly decorated former naval officer and an Iraq war veteran. He was incredibly successful. He was an incredibly successful attorney general in the state of Nevada. These are not bad candidates. If you can't work with this level of quality, you can't work with anyone. And they are running against a crop of extreme and discredited candidates that a competent Republican leader should have no problem talking about, giving the slightest opportunity. John Fetterman, an ostensibly grown man running for ostensibly grown man running for the Senate from Pennsylvania, is supported by his parents. Ralph Warlock, trying to keep his Georgia seat, is a troubled man with an extreme voting record. Mark Kelly has envious funding, but his extreme voting record and the personality of a fish. More importantly, the Republicans won their nominations by running on the policies that have so invigorated and expanded the party. They have a clear message about helping out middle-class workers and their families, protecting the country's open borders, wasteful wars, defending American values and freedom against leftist authoritarians. It is political malpractice to pout and run them, and the voters who selected them down. Republican voters came out in droves to nominate these candidates. They, like them, McConnell, who is unfortunately quite politically unpopular, but who is the top elected leader of the party, should be taking every opportunity to sing their praises and push a unifying and expansive message nationally. Of course, not every candidate is perfect, and Democrats appear to be batting 1,000 because their people get a lot of political cover from the media, even those who aren't running for office. Just look at the crack-addled, perverse, and allegedly corrupt activities of Hunter Biden. The FBI stepped in to smother his dirty laundry from airing in publications. Also, as Hemingway noted, if Mitch can deliver words of adoration for Liz Cheney, he can do something. So he can he can do so for someone like College Football Hall of Famer Herschel Walker. J.D. Vance's past anti-Trump activity was disappointing, but again, in 2016, the people nominated these candidates for the U.S. Senate. People like Mitch do not want to be challenged by us. And this is what's happening. When the people of those states and those districts nominate these folks, Mitch doesn't like it because he knows that he and his authority and his power are going to be challenged by us. So when people start talking about, and I hated using this phrase, establishment Republicans, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Lisa Murkowski, you name it. It's funny. I posted a video. I'm going to try to find it, and if I don't, it's on my personal Facebook page, and I'll put it on the Fight Back Media page as well, if you'd like to see it. It's a video of a group of lions who have downed a water buffalo. And then suddenly the lions start fighting amongst themselves, and very quietly the water buffalo gets up and goes, "Nobody's trying to eat me. I think I'll go home now." Gets up, trundles off. This is a behavior that we must fight. Mitch McConnell is wrong. Victory is within sight. And if we stay focused, we will enjoy it. How about that? How about that? All right, let's do another one. Every time they go after my dude, every time media tries to go after my dude, he always dunks on them. Governor Ron DeSantis is calling the Sunshine State's military veterans to join Florida's workforce as school teachers. But there are certain criteria that must be met. Still, illiterate members of the press seized the opportunity to try to school DeSantis without carefully reading the veteran-friendly state specifications. So is Florida actually encouraging veterans without background in teaching to serve as educators? Here's a claim. That the Washington Post economics correspondent Abaha Batari blindly repeated a false claim verbatim in a tweet Wednesday that Florida is asking veterans with no teaching background to enter classrooms, while sharing her Ivy League educated colleagues reporting on the growing teacher shortage crisis. The Washington Post education reporter Hannah Nadison, a Harvard A Harvard University alum penned the initial claim in an article published in the Washington Post. In fact, the no teaching background line was a ledigraph. It was wrong. Just like don't say gay. Here's the fact. The assertions placement at the top of the story directly contradicts Madison's acknowledgement further down in the report that the state's veterans do not need a bachelor's degree, but must have earned 60, a minimum of 60 college credits while maintaining a grade point average of at least 2.5 on an official transcript as of Friday. No correction has been made at the bottom of Madison's piece, acknowledged the contradiction. Patari's ratio tweet was also a copy and paste format that other WAPO writers use in similar verbiage to circulate Madison's coverage, including Newspaper National's reporter Amy Wang, a business reporter, Hamaza Shaban, Bloomberg's national political reporter Emma Kinnery, and Politico's education editor Delise Smith Barrow. I bet she's black. Also participated in the copy paste chain, quoting WAPO's social media blurb. No. Just like a lot of people who get into teaching, they have to have at least 60 hours. And they get a temporary certificate. Like a lot of teachers here in Florida and other places around the country have started on a temporary certificate that gives them time to go get their bachelor's and then get properly certified. That happens all the time. This is not new. He's just encouraging veterans and first responders to do it. Florida's firebrand, Christina Pushaw, we love her, who used to be the governor's press secretary before she joined the DeSantis reelection team, swiftly shut down the clown show. Another falsehood from the Washington Post. Veterans do have teaching background, especially if you move past being a grunt. Also, the certification requirements are public, and this common sense reform passed unanimously. Yes, every Florida Democrat in the state legislature voted for it. Shut up. Every single one. Here it is. Let me read it for you. Let me read it to you. The Military Veteran Certification Pathway. Effective July 1st, 2022, Florida issues a 5-year temporary certificate for military veterans who have not yet earned their bachelor's degree and meet the following eligibility. Minimum of 48 months of active duty, so you have to be in for 4 years, with an honorable discharge on a DD, Department of Defense, 214. A minimum of 60 college credits with a 2.5 grade point average on an official transcript. A passing score on a Florida subject area examination for bachelor level subjects, which demonstrates mastery of subject area knowledge. Employment in a Florida school district, including charter schools with an assigned mentor, and clearing a background screen. Before applying to this pathway, complete a waiver request for the military certification fees waiver. This isn't like any grunt that worked in a kitchen can now be a teacher of physics. This is what's happening. They still have to get a passing score on a Florida subject area examination for a bachelor level subject, which demonstrates mastery of the subject area knowledge. Still. This is what's true. Unfortunately, we don't have regular media. We don't have legacy media that's going to say, hey, listen, I think the Washington Post got it wrong here. Here's what's really going on. Here's what's really happening. And it's a shame. And it's a god awful shame. But this is where we are, which is why it is disturbing and angering that Mitch McConnell has decided to be that old lion that's just now attacking the lions who have victory right there. It's right here, and here comes McConnell. Stay focused. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program. I'm going to finish up here in a bit, right after these messages.